Good evening, friends. Welcome to the BISP Solutions. This is Raj Bhatt, and today we are diving into the version dimension in Oracle Planning and Budgeting Cloud Services, that is PBCS. Over the next hour, we will cover its purpose, its key member properties, and how they impact your planning process. So, first and foremost, we have to know that what is version dimension, because it is very mandatory to know that if we are discussing about the specific dimension about the PBCS, so the what it is and what is the meaning of it. So the version dimension is one of the essential dimensions in PBCS. It is used to store and manage different scenarios or states of your data. So think of it as a way to keep separate versions of your financial plan. For example, you might have a budget version for your annual plan, a forecast version to track your future projections, and an actuals version for your real world financial results. So these are simply the financial versions which will impact the planning as well as forecasting of the organization, that how you look the data through the different versions. If I will talk about the different versions, so versions could be different for the organization. If I talk about the expenses, so different person can give the different versions. Suppose John can give the different version, Alina can give the different version. But this dimension is crucial because it allows you to compare and analyze different data sets without overwriting your original information. So as I have mentioned, that version could be different. I have taken the examples of the different folks in the organization, that anyone can give their version, that how can the person can minimize the expenses in the organization. As I have mentioned, that John can give a different version, Alina can give a different version, that how we can reduce the expenses by the 10% or whatever the decided by the organization. So we will throw the light on the version dimension. So again, we will use the paint option where we will discuss that what is version and what is the use of version in doing the planning and forecasting. Yesterday we have discussed many things about the scenario dimensions. So today we will discuss about the version. So here we talk about the main dimension, that is version. What is version and what are the key members property of version? So what it includes? It includes first, that is plan type, second is exchange rate type, and third one is data type as well as the access. So what it would cover and what the different types of components would be there under the key properties, that is really the fascinating topic as well as fascinating dimension. We will learn about it. So first I will write it so you can make the notes, because when you will make the notes while watching the video, so absolutely the concepts would go to your mind and you will able to remember the concepts for forever. So that's why I would recommend you to take the notes, whatever I'm writing on the paint, whatever I'm making the diagrams on the paint, so you can as it is you can just draw on your laptop or on your different electronic devices. So the concept would be unambiguous to you. The clear concepts will helps you to do a practice on the instance, and you can be well versed in the PBCS instance and the PBCS application through doing the practice. So what are the main concepts that we have? here we will write it. First one is plan type. Second dimension property that we have under the version, that is exchange rate type. Third dimension members property that we have is data type. And in the fourth one we have the access control. Fifth, that is the last property, it talks about the time period. So we will discuss each of the members property step by step. So as we know, first one is plan type. First dimension members property that we have, it is plan type. So what is plan type? The plan type property links a version members to a specific planning queue. For example, if you have a financials queue and a workforce queue, so you can set up a version member to work exclusively with one or both. A version can be enabled for multiple plan types, allowing you to have a single version like budget that applies across different planning queues. So basically it is a plan type that the consultants decide, the expert decide that what kind of plan type we have to keep in the version dimension. So it is really an insightful thing that how the consultants use this option under the dimensions members property. As I have taken the example of different versions like budget, actuals, working. So the plan type property, as it links a version members to a specific planning queue. Is it a BSO queue or a ESO queue? But absolutely the version would be linked with the BSO queue because as we have already discussed as well as already learned, that BSO queues are the queues which are specifically for the input and the calculation, and ESO queue is for dashboard and reporting. So we have the segregated part of the cubes that the planning and budgeting cloud service application have divided two cubes, that is BSO as well as the ASO. So as we know that block storage cube and the aggregate storage cubes have the different as well as the separate functions. So that's why we have to keep in consideration that what kind of cubes we are using and where we are just putting the data as well as what kind of version we are taking forward. So it's really a critical as well as the complicated things, but if you will do all the things with careful technique, so absolutely your data would go into the correct queue. So simply I can write it links it links a version member to a specific planning cube. So it links the version members to a specific planning queue. As taken, we have examples like if you have the financial cubes and a workforce cube, so you can set up a version member to work with one or both. A version can be enabled for multiple plan types, allowing you to have a single version like budget that applies across different planning cubes. So we have the different types of planning cube that we will be using while doing the planning as well as the forecasting. So the another member that we have, it is exchange rate type. So you might have in doubt that what is exchange rate type, as we have discussed in the previous dimension, in the account dimension, even in scenario dimension. This thing was there, but here its meaning would be slightly different. The exchange rate type property is critical for the multi-currency application. It determines which exchanges of rate table will be used for currency conversions for the specific version. The common options are average, end of period, and historical. So let me write it, that what is exchange rate type. Here we will discuss that what is exchange rate type. Exchange rate type. The exchange rate type property is critical for the multi-currency applications. As I have discussed, this entails the average, end of period, and the historical components. So simply we can write it that it is a component for multi-currency application. It is an component for multi-currency applications. So we have a different types of exchange rate type that will be used for multi-currency application, as well as the different planning application, that how the exchange rate type would be there, as well as how this planning would contains the different components like average, end of the period, as well as the historicals. We are also bound to discuss that what are the type of exchange rate type, that what the options that have under the versions dimension. So these are the average as well as end of period. So what it is, so average is specifically used for the income statements accounts. So what are the income statement accounts, as well as how these income statement accounts are used, so that we can that is the normal thing which is available on the social media. On each YouTube videos you can find out what are the income statement accounts. If you are the consultants or experts, you know each and everything about the income statement. So it contains the different kind of accounts. So I can also mention it here that it entails average used for income statement. So it is used for the income statement. Then we have end of the period. So it is specifically used for the balance sheet. We can write it here and mention it. Used for balance sheet. Next thing that we have, it is historicals. it is historicals. It is used for non-monetary accounts and equity. Non-monetary accounts and equity. Yeah, so it is used for the non-monetary account and equity. So these are the options that is covered under the exchange rate option. The another thing that we have, it is data type. So what it is data type. So under the data type property defines the type of data version can hold. The most common options are currency and the non-currency. So here, first of all, we can write it, we can mention it here, that what is data type. So we have the data type, and data type property defines the type of data version can hold. So I can write it here. It defines the type of data a version can hold. So again, it has the two options, that is currency and the non-currency. I can mention it here, that is has the two option, that is currency and non-currency. So what is currency? So it is used for the monetary values, used for the monetary values. So it is used for the monetary values, and non-currency is specifically used for the things like head count or other numerical values. So I can write it here that it is used for the things like head count or other numerical values. So it has this feature. So the another thing that we have, that is access. Before that why this property is used, data type property is used. So this property helps to ensure that data integrity and the proper calculation occurs. So that's why we take the data type here. So the another thing that we have under the version dimension, it is simply it is simply the access. So you might have in doubt that what is access and what are the options or the attributes it has. So the access property controls who can write the data to a version. There are three main settings, that is read only, write and secure. So here I can again mention it, that what is access. So the access controls ensures that who can write the data to a version. It ensures that who can write data to a version. So under this we have again the three options. First is read only. So the user can view the data but cannot enter or change any values. This is ideal for the versions like actuals after the period is closed. So for the different like write options, users can enter data into the version. This is typically for the budget and forecast versions during the planning cycle. If I talk about the secure, so access is controlled by security settings on the member itself. This provides the granular control over who can write to a specific version. So we have the three options under the access control that I'm talking about. So again I can write it here. So first one is read only. So it enables the users that who can view the data but cannot enter or change any values. So users can view the data but cannot enter or change any values. Another thing that we have, it is write option. So what write option is? So under the write option, users can enter data into the version. So under this, users can enter the data into version. The last option that we have is access. That is for that we have the last option, that is secure. So it is deals with the access is controlled by the security settings on the member itself. Is the control access is controlled by the settings on the members itself. So it has the specific attributes that talks about the different users power as well as the security settings, that how the secure as well as the write and read only versions have the controls. So it is controlled by security settings on the member. So this provides a granular control over who can write to a specific version. The last dimension members property that we have, it is time period. So it is time period. Time period. So what time period is? The time periods property is a special one that defines which time periods are associated with the version. For example, your budget version might only cover the upcoming fiscal year, while a forecast version might be rolling for the 12 months period. So it talks about the tenure, that what the tenure the planning forecast dimensions has, and what kind of type period that the financial consultant is using for the planning as well as the forecasting. So I can write it here that time period property is a special one that defines which time periods are associated with a version. So it defines which time periods are associated with a version. So you can see here we have discussed all the cubes as well as the dimensions version and what are its key members property. Here you can see it. I have also mentioned it. So we have started with the version dimension. We have discussed here that plan time, exchange rate type, data type, access as well as the time period. So for your again recap, so plan type, it links a version member to a specific planning cube, as well as if I talk about the exchange rate type, so it is a component for the multi-currency application which has the three options that the consultant can select it, as well as the user also, which has the average and the end of period. The last one is the historicals. Average is specifically used for the income statement and the end of period is used for the balance sheet. And if I talk about the historical, so it is used for the non-monetary accounts. And under the data type, it defines the type of data a version can hold. Again, we have the two options, that is currency and the non-currency. For the currency specific one, we use for the monetary values. As far non-currency as concerned, so we use the things for like head count as well as the numerical values. So it is simple that what kind of data type the consultant is using and how the experts is working upon these all stuffs. So because it is very much important to keep in consideration that what kind of options we are selecting under the data members property, as well as are we going for the correct options or the not. Because after some time we will also talk about the enabled approvals, which has the different attributes and the segregation, which will impact the data form planning, where that when we will input the data under the data form, so the planning forecasting could be different. So that's why how it will impact we will discuss practically. We will see on the instance that how this will impact the proper financial structure whatever the consultant is inputting on it. So another members property that we have is access. It ensures that who can write data to a version. So we have the three options under it, that read only, write and secure. So read only, we can, from the name itself we can understand that users can view the data but cannot enter or change any values. For the write ones, users can enter data into the version but even they can read also, but they cannot secure the zone. So for the secure access, access is controlled by the security settings on the members. So this privilege is totally covered as well as given to the administrator, who is the administrator of the instance of the application. So they can does this all the stuffs, whatever the access they have to get, whatever the user is, so they can give the access to that person, or they can enable the options for the three of them. The last but not the least, it is time period. It defines which time periods are associated with a version. So what kind of tenure the financial structure is following, as well as how this time period is totally impacting the financial forecasting of the organization. Because time periods is that thing, what kind of time period we have taken for the version dimension. The same thing we have discussed in the account dimension as well as the scenario dimension. We have also discussed the significant importance of this time period while creating the application. In creating the application, it was asking about the time period, that what kind of time periods you want to take, as well as what kind of first year as well as end year that you want to take. So as I have suggested you, I have recommended you to take the current year minus 3 year, as well as the current year plus 3 year. We have create the application from 25 itself, so minus 3 22, as well as plus 3 it's 28. So these are the things that we have to keep in consideration, and how the key members property will impact the planning of the organization. So the next thing that is needed to discuss, that why professional use the version dimension in Oracle PBCS. What is the use of version dimension? So because it is very important, we have discussed the dimensions member property, and we have used all the stuff which is related to the planning. But why we are using it? So the answer is simple. The version dimension in PBCS is the fundamental component of well-designed planning application. So professionals use it for a variety of critical reasons, as it provides the structure and the control necessary for the robust and flexible financial planning process. So why we are using, we have the first thing, that is data segregation and integrity. So the primary purpose of the version dimension is to keep the different sets of data separate, instead of having a single plan where all changes are made. So the version dimensions allows you to have a distinct logical containers for your data. So it's avoid the overwriting data. Like without a version dimension, loading a new data, like a new forecast, would overwrite the old data, the budget. The version dimension prevent this by providing a dedicated space for each data set. So another benefits that we have, and what is the significance of it? So it is a scenario analysis and the comparison tool, a key function of planning and budgeting to compare the different scenario to make informed business decision. The version dimension makes this a simple and the powerful. Like if I talk about the what if scenarios, so you can easily create a new version such as best case, worst case, or the acquisition scenario. So to model a different outcomes, this allows you to analyze the potential application to various business decisions without affecting your official budget. So I will take you to the instance, you can read it. Under the dimensions, we will go here. Here you can see the option dimensions. So from the dimension itself, we can change. Here we can see the account dimension is there in front of our face, so we will change it. We will go to the version dimension. So here you can see the different versions are there: sandboxes, working, what if, most likely, best case, worst case, prior forecast, final, baseline, acquisition, expansion, as well as the target ones, or the different kind of versions that we have. So I will go to the best case. Here you can see the pencil icon here. So simply you have to click in and you can see the name is there, the best case, and type. What type we have selected is a standard tab, standard bottom up tab. We have also discussed that what is sandboxes. It is the background calculation page for the consultant, that how the consultant use it. It is specifically used for the calculations of the back page things, like if you want to do the rough work or if you want to do the rough calculations, so you can have the separate dummy instance for it. The hierarchy tab that we have taken, it is stored because we can enter the data under it in the best case. If it is dynamic cal, so we cannot put the data under the specific members, so that's why we have to take into the consideration that what kind of selections we are doing. In the data storage also we have taken the store sorry for that, we have taken the never share. So never share we have taken. The cube is already is there, we have ignored it by that. So this is how the things work. So the last uses that why it is used. So it is used for the workflow and process management. The version dimension is deeply integrated with the planning workflow and process in PBCS. So it contains many different things like control data entry as well as the rolling forecast. Earlier we have discussed that what is rolling forecast. So for a rolling forecast, a new version can be created each month or a quarter. This provides a clean slate for the latest projections while preserving the historical forecast for the comparison. So it has the different things that how you will decide the things and how you will use the rolling forecast. In the previous examples we have discussed that carry forwarding the finance of the organization is really difficult, and last previous historicals how we are carry forwarding to the different years. So how this rolling forecast works. And for the security and permissions, version level security provides an extra layer. So it is also the useful thing for the security and permission. It can gives you the granular access. You can assign a specific permission to the version members. For instance, a finance team might have right access to the budget and forecast versions, while a sales team might only have the access to a specific sales forecast version. So it gives you the granular level access that how the security permissions uses. So this is the main thing that how we can use the version, and we have also discussed the different versions under it. So these are the things that we have to learn. Under the paint I have also taught you that what are these versions. Versions dimension members property. So the last thing that we can go, that is like we have so far we have seen that different versions were there. So we will also create a new version under the instance, so that we will have the good command over it, that how we can create and how we can take the version, a new version. So we will create the new version under it. You can see the pencil icon as well, as we have discussed about the different dimension members property. So for that we will do the technical and administrative versions, like we can create a technical and administrative version. So under the technical and administrative versions, different versions could be there. It could be assumptions, top down, or loaded data. So here we will go for the adjustment. So here yesterday we have discussed that how we have created the new scenario dimension member. It was all about the top down. In the top down we have also seen that what are the dimensions member property of it. So we have also added its structure. So again we will create the new technical and administrative version under this dimension. So simply click on the version dimension and click on the name, and we will create the new version which would be adjustment. So you might have a doubt that what are the adjustment and why we are creating it. So this version is used to store top side adjustment or the manual overrides. So by keeping adjustments separate, you can easily view the original data and the impact of that adjustment. So this is totally used by the IT companies, that how they takes the version and how they do the planning and forecasting, because this application is worldwide famous. It is comprehensive. So that's why if IT solutions companies are using it, so what kind of versions they will take it. So I can write it, that is adjustment. So all the different things are good, and we will just keep it as in default, and simply we will click on the save. So you can see on the screen that the adjustments version has been created, and in the middle of best case as well as the worst case, we have created the siblings, that is adjustment, and how it will use. So it is totally depends upon the IT solutions company, that how they will take to the planning version, that if it is used to store the top side adjustment or the manual overrides. So by keeping adjustment separate, you can easily view the original data. So that's why this adjustment is very much significant for those companies who are in the domain of IT. So we have thrown some light that how the and assumptions as well as the versions we can create it, and over the panes we have also looked that how different cubes matter on it and what are the meaning of different cubes like BSO and ASO. So we have discussed, but we have also discussed about the different dimension members property, that is plan type, exchange rate type, data type, access, as well as the time period. You can see here. So it was all about the story of version that we have learned today. If you will have any doubts, so you can ask me on the comments without any hesitation. So thank you for watching the video and keep learning.